So for our first one right here, I think I'm just going to do like a standard ghost face. So like if you have a little ghost, I'll move this out of the way. So if you have a little ghost, you remember what a little ghost looks like. Okay, this is a standard little ghost face right there like that. When we do it on here and do it with the eraser, it totally changes the way things are going to look. So to start with, I'm going to just come in and I'm going to go around where the eyes are going to go. So I'll just come in here and then I'll go where the mouth is going to go. Just like that. And right now I've just drawn with my eraser. Doesn't look like much right now, okay? But here's where things start to change. Then I come around here and erase to the outside. I'm going to leave just a little bit around it here and there to help with expression. You don't necessarily need to copy what I'm doing. You can get kind of your own style or own faces that you're going to do here in a little bit. But I do have my little reference right here of what I want to try to accomplish. I'm going to come down here and in just a few seconds with erasing, I've got a face started that's pretty good on here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with my pencil, the graphite end. I'm going to darken in the eye openings. And darken in that mouth opening. And then I'll come back through here and refine this just a little bit. I want this to be a little darker right down in here because it's hard for light to reach right in there. I'm going to leave a little bit of a line coming around it because I like the way it looks. Maybe a little bit of expression coming in here. But it was done in just a few minutes. I mean, it didn't take very long at all to do this. And maybe I want just a little more shadow being cast onto the face right here. So I just take my pencil, put a little bit right there, smooth it out. And in just a few seconds, we used our reference and we have something that looks a little bit scarier, even though it's basically the same thing. Okay? And it didn't take very long. You don't want to spend a ton of time on this. It should go fairly fast for you as you're doing these. If I want just a little brighter, I just take a little more time erasing. And I have my little ghost there, just like that. Now, the next ghost I'm going to do is a scream ghost. Everybody knows what a scream face looks like this right here. So I'll just use this as my reference right here for my scream ghost. It's the exact same principle, except this time, maybe I'll do this one down here. I've got a little more of an opening. Except this time, I'm just going to draw around it with my eraser. Narrower at the top, wider at the bottom. I know I've got to leave a little nose in there somewhere, so I'll just make like a triangle shape to start with, so I know where that's going to go. And then my mouth, I'm going to have it go right off down behind the hood right there, where it folds underneath. So now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to look at what the ghost shape looks like, or the scream face looks like. I'm going to use my eraser to create that. eraser's trying to come off my pencil. Okay, after I have that, if I decide, okay, there's a little bit too much black, I can always lighten that up a little bit with my eraser. If I decide the shape is a little off, I can fix that with my pencil. So now I'm going to come in here with my pencil. It's going to be narrower at the top, wider at the bottom. This is where I need to be quite accurate. With the eraser, you can be off a little bit. When you're doing your darker parts, you want to make sure it's pretty darned accurate. There's one eye. Come over here, do the other eye. Now, just so you know, when I'm doing this, I do have a reference all the time. So you should have your Chromebooks out and have some kind of reference when you're doing this so that you're not just trying to pull this out of nowhere. It makes it really tough. So this is what I actually have. I'll just show you for a second. This is what's actually on my computer screen right now. So I have some kind of reference, and I'm not just trying to pull it out of thin air. I have something that I'm looking at. So I've got my Scream Ghost right in front of me. Come in here. I know I need to put a little kind of a heart-shaped nose in here. Say when you do the dark parts, when you get more accurate. And as I'm doing this, I'm also looking, okay, do I have it just how I want the shape, or do I need to change some things about it? And for the most part, I'm pretty close to where I want to be with this, but I am going to take and go back with my eraser after I get this dark part and erase a few things to make it look a little more accurate. This is where this folds over here. Now with my pencil, I'm just coming in here making it just a little more accurate according to my reference that I'm looking at. I do want a little bit of a shadow coming up underneath there because that hood's going to cast a little bit of a shadow on there, but I am going to soften it a little bit. Soften this stuff a little. If I need it a little wider, just press it a little harder with my eraser. Just like that, wipe the crap off of it. Just like that, we have something similar to our reference right here. I have my reference and drew with my eraser and created that Scream face right there. A little bit more right here. It's kind of a fun way to draw because you're literally drawing in reverse when you do this. Okay, so there's those two. Now, the next one I'm going to demonstrate is we're going to do a happy little ghost. Well, in order to do a happy little ghost, I got to decide what's my happy little ghost going to look like. So the first thing I'm going to do is just draw just a simple little ghost head right there, just like before. I'm going to put a big smiley face on him, like that. Probably make his eyes pretty big, like that. Now I have an idea what I want to draw here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put that big smiley face on there. So now I got my smiley face. Draw my big eyes in there. And now it's just a process of erasing out anything I don't need. And it's actually, in a lot of ways, easier than drawing with your pencil. Once you basically have your shapes on there, it goes pretty fast. Now he'll look slightly different than my reference, but not a whole lot. Okay, so now I got the basic expression on there. I'll come in. Darken things up. I'm trying to go fairly fast, so you don't have to sit here and watch this the entire time. But when you do draw with your dark end of your pencil, your graphite end of your pencil, make sure that you are really accurate with those shapes. Okay, so those shapes got to be quite accurate, as opposed to with your eraser where you can fudge a little bit. Part of this is going to be covered by the hood, so we're not going to see that entire eye. Now as I look at that, I'm like, okay, I need to take a little more off of here. A little more in the center. Then I'm going to change a few things. I'm going to come in here and put a little expression on the ends of his mouth. Right here, so he's got a little bit of expression. Then I'm going to shade right along the edge here. Bring this up just a little bit because it's hard to, there's not much light gets in there. I'm going to put a bottom lip on it, just lightly. Shade along this edge a little bit over the top. I want this to be a little brighter. Bit down this side here. Then I'll take my Kleenex, fold it to a little tiny point so I can get into the small areas, like right in here. Soften the lip. Shadow over here a little bit. And just like that, we now have a happy ghost. Okay? It doesn't take a whole lot of work. These go pretty fast. Okay, for our last one, this one's going to be a little more complex. This one's going to be a skull. So I'll just make sure I got a skull reference right here. I'll bring this up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And the first thing I'm going to do, of course, is do the eye openings. So I'm going to come along here. I'm going to make mine a little more angry. This one, the eyes kind of tilt this way. I'm going to tilt them this way a little bit, just to make it a little bit more ominous. So that will be the top of my eye opening. Then I'll come along here. Do the inside, the bottom, bring that on around, bring that on around. I see that I have a nose opening that I need to have, so I'll make sure that I Leave like a little triangle space right there for my nose opening. And then I've got to have teeth on this thing, so I'm going to just come along here and put a little smile where they're going to go. I'll zoom this in a little bit. And then I'm going to just take my eraser and go like this to create where these teeth are going to be. Now you don't necessarily have to be following along with me as I'm trying to do this. I'm just demonstrating, how to set it up is what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to come along in here. I know that this part's got to be a little lighter, so I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. I know that we have a cheekbone right here, so I'm going to bring that in. Because I'm looking at my reference, I can see there's a cheekbone right here. I think it's a little bit light. It's a little bit darker right in here because in here we do have a little bit of a jaw, maybe a little bit of a jaw, and then through here you got the brow. You want to lighten a lot of this up because it's the front part of the skull right here. But I don't want to get it too all erased on there because there is some shadow being cast from the hood that's around it. So I'm coming in here, lightening this up. And now I'll come in with my pencil and start to darken things up a little bit. When I get down here on these teeth, a little wider, the teeth is where you probably have to be the most careful. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to draw one, then the next one, then the next one, the next one. If I hold that up close, you can see what I'm doing. I'm actually drawing the teeth around the highlight. If it's not bright enough, I just take my eraser and put it in a little bit brighter. When I do go to draw it, I have something to go around. Come in here and do the bottom teeth. This one's a little light, so make it a little light, or a little dark, so I'll make it a little lighter. Come in here, I'm going to add the shadow in here a little bit stronger. A little bit of a highlight on the chin. And just like that, you have a skull, more like a Grim Reaper inside your opening on your face. Okay, the important thing here is that you kind of decide beforehand what it is that you want to create on there. Whether you want it to be like a little happy skull like this guy over here, or a happy ghost, I mean, or if you want a skull face, or if you want a happy face, if you want surprise looking go, saying boo, whatever he's saying right there. If you want like a scream, you got to decide beforehand. The other thing you need is to have your Chromebook out, have your reference in front of you, and not just try to pull this out of some orifice, okay? Make sure that you have something to at least get you pointed in the right direction when you do it. Now again, lastly, if you drew your characters and your openings are about this size right here, you got your ghosts all drawn, you're going to have a really, 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 really hard, if not impossible time trying to put a face in that. So don't. Just draw some bigger so you can practice, and so when you go to do your final, just have something with a bigger opening, okay, so that you can learn to do these. It's not like I'm asking to create a miracle. I'm just saying make it bigger. Then you color it all in, and then you go ahead and draw your face out with your eraser, because you are working on your rough draft practice right now. And from that, we'll take the ones that look the best and put them on to the final. But today, I want you practicing putting expressive faces in there. Are there any questions before I turn you loose on this? Okay, now if you filled up your page and you don't have room, just get another piece of paper. I just want to see what you can come up with when you're creating these. Sometimes your ghosts and your skulls may be facing you like this. Sometimes they might be turned away like this one. So when I drew this one, I looked up Grim Reapers, and I found some on the internet. I'm going to just lighten that up a little bit because it bothers me. And when I looked at it, I noticed there was a highlight on the side of the nose right here, that the teeth stood out right here. It was brighter on this side than it was on this side. I wouldn't know that if I didn't have a good reference to look at. So make sure you are checking your references on these things. Okay. If there aren't any questions, I'm going to kind of turn you loose, and then I'll kind of come around and check and see what you're doing. I won't kind of come around and check. I will come around and check, because I want to see what you come up with. And I don't necessarily want you copying exactly what I did. I want you to come up with your own ideas. I just am here to get you started in the right direction. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay? All right. With that said, I'm going to turn this off and turn you loose. If you need help with them, all you got to do is let me know, and I'll